Hello, YTPC. Ethan, Parsimonious Piper here, and I have got with me Hunter, the country gentleman. How are you today?
I'm doing good, sir. How about you?
Great. What are you smoking?
I am smoking some Davidoff Scottish mixture, and I like it so far. It's a pretty good English blend, and I think it's topped with a little bit of Scotch on it.
Well, in a LaRocca basket. Oh, yeah. What do you got there? Cobbett?
Yep, Cobbett corn cob pipe.
And in my LaRocca Bulldog basket pipe, I've got something that's just labeled Black and Burley from Levi Bennett. Again, I suspect it's one of his local tobacconist blends because the look and the taste doesn't match anything that's called Black and Burley or Burley and Black on tobaccoreviews.com. So I suspect it's just an in-house blend of Burley and Black Cavendish. It's not bad. So Hunter, tell us where you're from, a little bit about who you are, what you do, what makes you tick.
Well, I live in a small town in the DFW area in Texas. It's a little town called Springtown, and it's nestled between Dallas, Fort Worth, and Weatherford. What? Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Oh. What I do, I am a woodworker and craftsman. And yeah.
What kind of woodworking do you focus on? Are you carpentry or finish?
More of the kind of luxury things like hand-turned bowls, cups, tobacco pipes, some jewelry, stuff like that.
Fascinating stuff. I know for any of my viewers who have watched any of your videos, the setup you have there is very interesting. Now, is this a family-run operation, or do you work with other people there in your town?
No, it's just me and my brother, and we have a shop set up in my dad's barn.
Very cool. Very, very cool. Well, you're a new presenter. How long have you been at the hobby of pipe smoking?
Well, technically, I got interested in pipes when I was 15 years old, and I made my first pipe when I was 15, in which, of course, I could not legally buy tobacco. So we had a grape leaf vine that was growing on the back of our house, so I'd pick the leaves off of that and smoke them. But when I turned 18, I finally bought my first tobacco blend, and it was a Captain Black Roll.
Okay, well, yeah, my next question was going to be what got you interested. So grape leaves, how do those smoke? Did you dry them out? Did you process them like tobacco leaves, or?
I would just pick off the dried leaves off the vine during the summers and then just crunch them up and smoke them.
Oh, interesting. Now, you said part of what you guys make are tobacco pipes, wooden pipes. Now, are you making those from hardwoods or briar, or?
I kind of make them out of several materials. I make some briar woods, some olive, cherry, and morta.
Okay. We'll have to see if we can set up our viewers with a way to find your product. But while we're talking about pipes, do you have any particular shapes that are your favorite, either to get to purchase from other people or to make yourself?
See, it's kind of a tricky one. I kind of like the look of most pipes, but probably more of the church warden kind of Lord of the Rings style pipes, and then I do like the freehand looking pipes and the straight apples and things of that nature. Pretty much if it's a pipe that my eye likes, then I'll get it. I'm not too picky on what the pipe looks like if I like it.
Now, yourself, do you carve mostly church warden type pipes?
No, I've only made a few just because the stems are pretty difficult to make, especially on the drilling. So I primarily do more of your kind of standard style pipes or your freehand pipes.
All right. Well, the next question then would be, uh, as you've discovered new pipe makers, um, what are your favorite brands, either to purchase yourself or uh, if you've got other carvers or brands that you look to for inspiration in your own work?
Yeah, I personally haven't purchased too many pipes, but I do really like the look of Salvinelli and Peterson pipes. So I kind of look at those for inspiration, and then I'll look at some of the guys who do freehand styles. So I'll look at their pipes, and I really like some of the freehand styles that they do.
Sounds good. Now you mentioned Captain Black Royal was your first true tobacco purchase.
Mhm.
So, like many of us, it sounds like you got started off with an aromatic. Um, what are you smoking now? What are your favorite blend types or blends themselves?
I kind of gotten more towards to where I like the more smokier type of blends, but I'll still smoke a aromatic here and there. Pretty much it's just whatever tobacco flavoring I like, I'll smoke. I'm not too picky if it's an aromatic or an English or a vapor. But I have learned that I don't care too much for um, Virginian forward blends.
That that lines up right with me. There are a couple of Virginia types that I do like, but they're the Gawith and Hogarth type, very dark Virginias, not the bright grassy, you know, honey hay type, bready. No, no thanks. But the really dark English stuff, some of those, the Gawith and Hogarth Virginias, like the black and brown Irish twist, those are, I love those.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people talk about those. I need to give those a try.
Yeah, especially that was one of the ones people, a couple of guys said, "Hey, you keep saying you don't like Virginias, but you need to try these." Okay, you're right. There are some Virginias that I do like. They're the good, dark, strong ones.
Hmm. And are they more like a vinegary type of tobacco, or
No,
just
they
kind of
actually they
like
remind me a whole lot more of a dark fired Kentucky style.
oh,
They're
okay.
a black Irish twist, for example, has a kind of a charred meat taste to it. To me, I get a barbecue, grilled meat um, flavor, and that reminds me a lot of dark fired Kentucky, and I love Kentuckies.
I'd have to definitely give that a try because I really like the smoky, meaty
Uh-huh.
flavored tobaccos.
Black Irish twist might just be right up your alley. It really, really might. But those strong blends like that, yeah, I really like that. Of course, then there's some of the. Have you been able to try any of the Sam Gawith stuff, like 1792 Flake or any of those?
No, I haven't really got to try too many. I've tried some Cornell and Deal and one McBaron, but I haven't tried too many blends yet.
We'll have to see if we can fix that for you.
Well, thank you.
Well, I will definitely make sure that I and or a couple of the other guys make sure you get set up with some samples of things to broaden your horizons. Now, many of us got our start in watching YTPC videos through just a handful of channels. Tell us about how you found the YTPC and what got you into uh, moving from the watching side to this side of the camera.
So I kind of stumbled on it upon chance, but the first person I think that I saw on the YTPC was George Bruno and Mutton Chop Piper, and I really enjoyed their videos and started watching them. And then eventually, I was like, you know what? maybe I should start my own pipe channel. I don't have a whole lot to do, so I thought it'd be interesting to try and start my own channel.
Yeah, I think a lot of us found the YTPC through those two guys. Bruno doesn't do much pipe related anymore, but since Mutton Chop's back, everybody's enjoying seeing him again. That brings me then into the Country Gentleman. Why did you pick that particular name for your channel?
Well, my brother and I were trying to think of names for the channel, and I guess a few months before I decided to name my channel, I was looking at corn cobs from Missouri Meerschaum and the Country Gentleman I saw. And when I came up with the name, I totally forgot about seeing that name, but for some reason it rang a bell and I really liked it. So I just went for the Country Gentleman.
Nothing wrong with that at all. It's a fantastic cob, so a good namesake. Now, I and a number of viewers have been entertained by your frequent but not continuous use of accents. And they're charming, they're entertaining. Sometimes they're funny. What made you think to do that? Because I got to admit, I mean, that's unique to you, right? I haven't seen anybody else do that.
Well, I was in drama in high school, so I always really liked acting, and I was always really good at portraying accents. Like when I went to Europe, I did an Irish accent, and a lot of the Irish thought I was Irish, even though I was wearing full Texas getup. And I was always really good at Scottish accents, and I picked up the Scottish accent from the movie Braveheart and Fat Bastard from Austin Powers.
Oh, that's a great character right there.
Yeah.
Well, I was just curious because I know a lot of us find them very entertaining.
I'm glad on that. I was hoping they weren't annoying or anything.
Well, they certainly are a unique thing to your channel. Now, going along with the accents and the name, though, we often see you guys. I know your brother has at least been in the periphery of a couple of your videos, but we see you guys wearing old time clothes. Is that part of your store, or is that just you?
No, that's just me. I'm personally one of those. I don't care for modern attire, so I really like the old school attire. And eventually, I do want to get into the tweed suits and stuff when I can afford that kind of stuff, because I've always really liked that look. It's just a really good professional look to me, and I think it also goes really well with pipe smoking in general. That's kind of how you always picture the old pipe smokers to wear.
Mm-hmm.
So I've always just loved that style of clothing.
Well, a couple of your videos where you've been in the shop, it's really neat, because to me it's almost like we're being taken back into the 20s or 30s, because you look like a professionally dressed craftsman working in a shop a century ago, and so that's always been part of the charm of your channel for me.
Well, thank you. And that's kind of the look once we redo this shop, because right now it's just a uninsulated metal building. It's kind of a disaster. We kind of want to do an old school industrial look to it. And I'm also hoping to get a smoke shed here soon for the channel and kind of make it look 1920s or late 19th century, where you got the old school furniture and the oil lamps and things like that, just to give it a nice atmosphere for the channel.
Very cool. Very, very cool. I know I toyed with the idea of doing an outdoor smoking shed a year ago, and then I watched a couple of the guys who were starting to do those. guys like Jason, NW Piper, and Mike Rondeau. And I tell you what, that just looked like more trouble for me than it was worth if I could convince my wife to let me occasionally smoke in the house. But love to see what you guys come up with if you do that, because your woodworking and everything, boy, it just looks lovely.
Well, thank you.
So now that you're, oh, go ahead.
And I'll be sure to do more woodworking videos for you guys too. It's been pretty slow with the COVID. The little shop that we were selling our stuff in, it's down there in Fort Davis, which is West Texas, and it's just a little tourist area, but that's where we've been sending our woodwork and my pipes and stuff, and we were doing pretty well before the COVID hit, and then everything just went dry. So haven't been doing a whole lot of woodwork.
Well, I know I, for one, would be fascinated by it. I made an attempt at doing woodwork about 15 years ago, and discovered that I'm a whole lot more appreciative of fine craftsmanship than I am at making it.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of things to learn. Eventually I'd like to get into carpentry, like furniture and stuff, but yeah, it's a lot of learning curves there.
Well, now that you are presenting and creating content, what can you tell us about the things that you enjoy the most with the YTPC?
Probably one of the chilled aspects about it. Everybody seems to be very good and respectful to each other. Everyone's just really friendly here. So I really, really enjoy that. And then I just like to see people's pipe collections and their massive cellars that I wish I had for my pipe tobacco and whatnot. But I really enjoy just hearing the stories and people talking about what blend they're smoking and showing off their pipes and things of that nature.
Yeah, it is quite the community. For the most part, I think you're right. The vast majority of people are respectful with each other. We don't have a lot of drama, and when we do, it typically gets squashed pretty quickly.
Yeah, because this world's already too drama enough. It's nice to go to a place to where you don't see a whole lot of drama. And when we all debate against each other, it's more of a respectful debate. I wish our politicians could do that.
Yeah, it would be nice, wouldn't it?
But it's nice to see.
Go ahead.
It's just nice to see everybody have a respectful debate. If you're on the left or the right, it's just, I don't know. Everyone seems to be respectful to each other on here. So
be nice to make them all sit down with a pipe, wouldn't it?
Yep. Dang it, go away. There we go. Stupid pop up.
So outside of pipes and woodworking, which it might be a hobby, but it's also a business, what other things make you tick? What other interests do you have?
Well, I was a blacksmith a couple years ago before I moved to Austin for a year.
Really?
And I just haven't gotten back into it since I came back, but that's something I really want to get back into. It's just kind of expensive to get into.
Now, what kind of smithing were you doing? Were you doing, actual industrial type things, or were you doing craftsmanship the way you are with your wood?
More craftsmanship, like knives and things of that nature. And I've always really liked swords. So I've been trying to learn how to make swords and knives and things of that nature. That's typically what I like to forge. And that's something I hope shortly soon to get back into, and I'll probably do a channel on that as well for blacksmithing.
Well, and if you manage to get back into it, I know I've got to be a lot of guys like me who would be fascinated by seeing you work. Um, those
It's
are
definitely interesting work.
those are things that not that many people do anymore.
Yeah.
And I know I would be fascinated.
It's hard work, but it's a lot of fun too. And I've always been kind of a fire bug, so it gives me an excuse to play with fire too. So that's also really nice.
Yeah, we had a neighbor across the street in Arizona who was a welder, and yeah, he didn't do commercial welding. He did creative welding. He taught commercial welding, but he didn't do it himself. And he just that was one of the things he said. You know, it was controlled fire, and he enjoyed that quite a bit. You know, making fences, and he did things like daggers and uh, motorcycle handlebars and all kinds of interesting things that he would weld up. Um, but I would imagine that smithing has got to be similar when you're being creative.
Hmm. Yeah, I've always just been fascinated with the crafting arts and things of that nature, like painting, metalwork, woodwork, clay work, all those kinds of things. I've always been fascinated by. And then stained glass work is really cool to watch too. I always loved watching seeing how they combine the colors and the glass and all that, and then the glass blowing is just really interesting as well.
I've always been fascinated by watching glass blowers. It's yeah, it's pretty amazing to watch sand turn into glass.
Yeah.
It's just yeah, that's really cool. Uh, well, we're winding down just a little bit here. Let me ask you my final question that I always ask guys. You got any final words or parting thoughts for the YTPC?
Uh, well, I hope all you guys have a fantastic day. Keep your pipes lit, and God bless.
All right. Now I'm going to put you on the spot because just before I say my sign off, I want to hear you give everybody a farewell in your best Scottish brogue.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I thank you so very much for watching the Purselaneous Piper, and I hope all of you guys have an absolutely fantastic day. May you keep your pipes lit, and God bless.
And with that, folks, I'll give you probably the funniest sign off. Like something you like. Enjoy your afternoon.